So, Steve, we've been talking about the Jays. I don't know what they've won twice. Do you call it an auspicious start? I guess you do after being no hit in Houston, right?
Well, it's one day and one game, and they're what are they 2-3 right now after 5 games of starting 10 on the road. Have they looked terrible in all three losses? Yes. Did they
Yeah.
look pretty good in the 2 wins? Yes. Do we have any clue what this team is? No. Um, and so it's easy to overreact to being no hit by somebody you've never heard of, but it's 5 games into a season where they start with 10 on the road and they're 2-3. And it's not horrible, except for the Yankees are 5-0. And Baltimore's off to a good start. And so the Jays are already getting behind teams that they need to keep pace with early on. That to me is the biggest problem. How they've played, they've been completely uneven, which I expected this team to be. So I'm not surprised. I'm not disappointed. And I want to know more after 10 road games than I do after 5.
But the team has not hit the ball well. Even in the 2 wins, they got a total of, I think, 16 hits. They scored a lot of runs, but they didn't get many hits. And then they get no hit. The offense doesn't look like it's good enough.
Well, I've had many conversations with many baseball people over the years, as we all have had, and one thing that Buck Showalter told me years ago has always stuck in my mind. He says, "Do you want to see a good team in the major leagues? Tell me who's hitting 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, especially 6, 7, 8, and 9. Look at that 6, 7, 8, and 9. If they're not good enough in those spots, this will not be a good team." And if you look at the Blue Jays, really after 4, and I'm not even sure you include 4, but say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a very unimpressive offense.
Yeah.
Singularly, collectively, however you look at it, power-wise, there's nothing to that group who are hitting in those spots. And I really believe that this could be the weakest hitting outfield the Blue Jays have ever had.
Agreed.
And so outfield positions, your corner outfield positions are supposed to be good hitters. We don't know, who is a good hitter on this team other than the guys hitting 1, 2, and 3. And I mean, obviously, respect to Justin Turner, who's been around forever, but the rest of the lineup is a dog's breakfast. And so let's go back to them losing in Minnesota, where they scored 1 run in 2 games in the wild card series, and Ross Atkins came out after that and said, "We're going to fix the offense." And then Mark Shapiro came out after that and said, "We're going to do a deep study and we're going to fix the offense." And after pursuing numerous players in the offseason, they got next to nothing. And so they didn't fix the offense. They didn't, do anything that you would expect them to do. And management really let the fan base down, I think, in how they conducted themselves in the offseason by not addressing what was a problem all of last year. And is really, you remove Matt Chapman and others from this lineup, you look around baseball and you see, Teoscar Hernandez pounding homers in Los Angeles, and you see, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. pounding stuff in Arizona, along with Gabriel Moreno, who's knocked in a pile of runs. And you're wondering, is management, or should management have their backside on the line in this season if this Jays team can't compete?
Well, now, in defense of the Jays, there's no Bichette right now because of the neck spasms. But I don't think one guy's going to make a difference at this point. Do you?
Well, baseball is not the kind of game. I mean, if one guy made a difference, the Los Angeles Angels would be in the playoffs every year. Right. As great a player as Bo Bichette is offensively and sometimes defensively, as great a hitter as Vladdy Guerrero may be, expecting him to be closer to a big guy than what he has been the last 2 years. As great as those 2 guys are, the 2 guys can't carry an offense. You need contributions up and down your lineup. you need, what Schneider did last year and what Alejandro Kirk did 2 years ago and what Teoscar Hernandez did and what Lourdes Gurriel Jr. did and all those guys. And you need to go deep into you need to get a deep lineup so that the pitcher from the other team has to work every batter and has to throw the maximum number of pitches. I mean, that's the whole game today, is to get the starting pitcher out as early as possible.